shift our focus now to the other big development where Joe Biden told Volodymyr Zelensky Washington will not abandon Kyiv in its fight against Russia.
Well, Joe Biden's statements are not really reflecting what the US feels, and that is essentially what has created so much discussion all over the world. And essentially, that's why Zelensky is even in the US for the third time since the war started, even as Republicans have signaled an opposition to extending the US war funding. The Kremlin echoed Republican arguments, scoffing at the impact of US support.
Now, standing alongside the Ukrainian leader at a White House press conference, Biden vowed, and I'm quoting here, "I will not walk away from Ukraine, and neither will the American people." The US president warned against allowing a Ukrainian defeat.
The American people can be and should be incredibly proud of the part they played in supporting Ukraine's success. We'll continue to supply Ukraine with critical weapons and equipment as long as we can, including $200 million I just approved today in a critical needed equipment, additional air defense interceptors, artillery, and ammunition. But without supplemental funding, we're rapidly coming to an end of our ability to help Ukraine respond to the urgent operational demands that it has. Putin is banking on the United States failing to deliver for Ukraine. We must prove him wrong.
Now, Zelensky, who spent the morning talking to Republicans and Democrats in Congress, signaled cautious optimism that the stalled US aid flow will restart. He's still positive about it.
Вони були більш ніж позитивні, але ми знаємо, що є слова, а є конкретний результат. Ми будемо count on the great result. Thank you.
The United Front at the White House contrasted with growing division up on Capitol Hill. Leading Republican leaders are insisting that renewing Ukraine aid will depend on Democrats first agreeing to major immigration reforms. They're even questioning whether the war against Russian invasion should continue. Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson expressed little enthusiasm for approving Biden's request for $60 billion in new assistance. Moscow, meanwhile, claimed fresh battlefield advances and predicted any new assistance for Kyiv would be a fiasco.
What the Biden administration seems to be asking for is billions of additional dollars with no appropriate oversight, no clear strategy to win, and none of the answers that I think the American people are owed. I have also made very clear from day one that our first condition on any national security supplemental spending package is about our own national security first. The border is an absolute catastrophe, and this is because of the policies of this White House and this administration.
Republican Senator J.D. Vance, close to the party's leader and likely 2024 presidential candidate as well, Donald Trump, said that Zelensky was gross for pressuring the Senate. Russia said it was pressing ahead on the ground, just as Ukraine's freezing winter deepens and Moscow's air attacks on Ukraine cities increase. Ukraine said that Russia had launched a massive offensive with armored vehicles in another part of the front near Avdiivka in the east. In a blow felt by civilians behind the front lines, Ukraine's main mobile operator said it had been paralyzed by a powerful hacker attack.
The United States said Moscow is paying an extraordinary price for small gains, with some 315,000 Russian troops killed or wounded in Ukraine since the war began in 2022. According to a declassified U.S. intelligence assessment, Russians have also lost some 2,200 of the 3,500 tanks they had before the start of the conflict. The White House said Russia had suffered more than 13,000 dead and wounded in the east of Ukraine just since October.
National Security Council spokeswoman said Russia seems to believe that a military deadlock through the winter will drain Western support for Ukraine. As US ponders its future Ukraine policy, Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk called for full mobilization on the part of the free world, the West, in support of Ukraine.
Będziemy, i liczę tutaj na współpracę wszystkich sił politycznych, głośno i zdecydowanie domagać się pełnej mobilizacji wolnego świata, świata Zachodu na rzecz pomocy Ukrainie w tej wojnie. Nie ma dla takiego myślenia żadnej alternatywy.
Now, some experts view the Russia-Ukraine war as a manifestation of the renewed geopolitical rivalry between major world powers.